Welcome to another episode of Henberry Farm, where today we get to do a water belly extraction. Water belly is also called Ascites, I think. Yes, Ascites. Hi, Cheeto. And it is where the heart is starting to have problems and it pushes fluid into the belly. And Cheeto, and the belly of a chicken will get so swollen it feels like a water balloon. Now this chicken, I don't have a name for her. I noticed she was feeling kind of off on, what's today, Saturday? She was feeling kind of off on Thursday, so I was kind of watching her. Friday night, she didn't want to move, so I would approach her and she just kind of sat there. So I'm like, okay, it's time to start doing something. So I put her in a separated cage and went out later on that evening to close up all the coops and turn off the lights. And she was kind of stiff. She wasn't dead, but she was stiff. It was kind of cold out, so maybe she was just, you know, hardening her body up to be warm. So I brought her in that night, last night, and she stayed in a cage that I have in the utility room, so she could be in the warmth. And here's what we got going on. Okay, the supplies that you're going to need. Cheeto, I really need you to go away for a moment. Is needles. And this is a 1/2 inch 16 gauge needle. And it's only a 1/2 inch tall, so it stops right about there. You'll want a 1/2 inch needle because you don't want to puncture any kind of organs. So the shorter the gauge, or the shorter the needle, the less likely you are to hit a organ. Did I not give you enough lovings today? No, I love you too. Okay. And then you'll also need a fat syringe. This syringe is 35 milliliters. Ouch! Now I did buy these at Tractor Supply, Producer's Pride, which I think Producer's Pride is also the chicken feed that everybody's complaining about, where there's the chickens aren't laying the eggs because they're eating that feed. And the needles themselves are Producer's Pride too. No plugs here. No advertisement plugs here. Just letting you know what I got. This is what I use. I picked those up at Tractor Supply. If I can, I will put links in the description below for products if you want to just go ahead and click the link and order them off Amazon. Cheeto. Okay. Alright, so this is what you'll need. You'll need a 1/2 inch 20 gauge needle and a big fat syringe and a bucket so you can squirt all the water out. Okay, this is not what I wanted to be doing at 7 a.m. in the morning. I'd rather be snuggled in my heated bed. I don't have a name for this chicken. And her butt feels like a water balloon, and it is so big. Got a 16-inch gauge needle, got my syringe, and I'm going to try to drain out the water from her belly, and this is due to a heart condition. When the heart is having problems, it produces fluid in the belly. So I'm going to poke her on her right side towards the bottom
where there's no vital organs and try and drain out some of this fluid. And it's a short needle. This is a 16 gauge needle. So the shorter they are, the better chance you have of not puncturing any organs. I'm going to try and find a spot and hit it with some hydrogen peroxide. There's her belly. And you know when your chicken's having problems when their comb turns purple? It's supposed to be a bright red. This is like a purple black. I'm going to leave the needle stuck in her. I'm going to pull this syringe out. All this came out of her. Each syringe here is 30 milliliters. You want to pull it out slow because it could send the bird into shock. Oh, I'm sorry, it's 35 milliliters. This is number 4. And while I've got the syringe out, there is fluid leaking out of the needle. Six. I'm gonna need something else to put this in. Seven. Man, her belly was so full. Oh, I can't pull any more out. 7.5. Still fluid leaking out of it. Eight and a half. Nine and a half. Okay, so I extracted 20 vials of 35 milliliters. Do the math, I don't know how much that is. 600 milliliters of some sort. Maybe 625, I don't know. She's feeling a lot better now. She can actually hold her head up. How you doing? Every time I detached the needle from the syringe, the needle stayed within her body and it leaked out. So I got more fluid out every time I was extracting the fluid out of the syringe. Okay, you're gonna open your eye? Gonna open your eyes? Alright, so I'm going to keep her in the house for a couple days, keep an eye on her, make sure her belly doesn't swell up again, and I will have to do another extraction if I have to. You need to treat water belly as soon as you find it, or you will lose your bird, but you got to be careful. Make sure you get the 16 gauge needle, which I'll put in a link below. Get yourself a syringe. Make it a big one. Don't make it a skinny one, because you'll be dumping that syringe 40 times, 50 times. I mean, being that I got 600 plus milliliters out of her belly, I dumped this 20 times. 20. So, all right. Thank you for joining me on this little episode of extraction of water out of my chicken's belly, called water belly or Ascites. Give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, and like, and have a great afternoon. Thank you for joining me.